we want to see women in the society. Now, before talking about representation of women on OTT, let me talk a little bit about the history of representation of women in the entertainment industry in India. So we most of us know that how feminism have three different waves: first wave, second wave, and third wave. And the first wave talked about liberal feminism. It talks about the women's political right to vote, right to political representation. But the second wave of feminism talked about women's representation in the workforce. It talked about women taking part in every field, and from there onwards, this second wave of feminism came in 1960s, and this talked about representation of women, equal participation of women in the workforce, not only in traditional jobs but also in entertainment industry. Now, if we are talking about projection of women in Indian television, or before Indian television, let's talk about women in Bollywood cinema. So the very first film which was made by Bollywood was Raja Harishchand. It was released in 1913 and it was directed by Dadasaheb Phalke. So the irony was that at that particular period of time, women were not at all participating think I am audible and connected. So in So in this particular Raja Harishchand movie, only men played their roles, not only like male role but also female role. This shows the irony that how in the initial phase there was no representation of women on the cinema, but in the 1960s, when the second wave of feminism was going on across the globe, India was also taking part in this, and television started becoming a popular thing in Indian household. With this, women became more involved and a strong part in the industry. Remember that how Doordarshan was the only channel which we used to watch when we were. Big problem with these serials was that women in these serials were shown in a very typical character. Typical in the sense that these women were only an ideal wife or a daughter-in-law or a sister or maybe a daughter, but nothing more than that. So it was projecting the society. At the same time, it was also making the society learn that how women should be represented. So in all those times in 70s and 80s, women were only being represented as an ideal woman. There was no darker side of women shown on TV industry or on the screen. But with the introduction of globalization, cable network came in India in the last decade of the 20th century, and there were many serials, particularly women-centric serials. I remember these serials very fondly. Serials such as Shanti, Saans, Kora Kagaz, Swabhiman. Shanti was one of the most influential serial in my life. Why? Because I still remember Mandira Bedi playing this, young, energetic, strong woman's character who was born out of wedlock because her mother was raped by two strong men. This particular serial was a fight against patriarchy. Apart from Shanti, another serial which was shown strong women character was Saans. This particular serial was again very different from its own time, because the main protagonist was played by Neena Gupta, and she herself is a very strong lady. She fought against all odds of the society, and the same kind of character she played on screen also, where she has been left by her husband, and it because he was involved in extramarital affair, how she handled everything. Apart from that, another serial was Kora Kagaj, which was directed by veteran actress Asa Parekh, and Renuka Sahare played the lead role in this serial. And this serial also talked about that how a woman is not weak if her husband is not there on her side. And it also shows that a woman who is being left by her husband can also have some kind of maybe romantic or platonic relationship with any other male. Another serial which was way ahead of its time was Swabhiman. We all must have seen Swabhiman on television, and Swabhiman was very fancy for its own time. All kind of fashion, all kind of different shades of women were showing on screen in this serial. Is particularly talking about Kittu Gidwani. She was very fashionable, and I remember my childhood very fondly because of these serials. But then 21st century came, and with that, a new era of Indian television or new era of entertainment came into picture with the era of family drama and daily soap. Producer Ekta Kapoor started her K-dramas, and those series became popular overnight, particularly among the middle class women, not only in India, but in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. We can say that in Indian subcontinent. Now, what was so unique about Ekta Kapoor's serial? The uniqueness was that it shows two extreme sides of women's character. According to Ekta Kapoor, there was no gray areas in women's character. There is some of the very popular characters which was shown on TV were Tulsi, Parvati, Prerna. Tulsi Virani, we all must remember. We know that Smriti Irani played this role, and how popular it has become in every Indian household. And when she came on picture on screen playing this idealistic woman who is trying to keep her household together, but at the same time she became violent when she killed her son because he raped another girl. Tulsi Virani actually recreated the role of Mother India on Indian television. But this does not mean that these serials were showing any strong female lead, or maybe we women were not able to connect. Definitely we were very much associated with these characters, but these characters were not showing the actual picture. Parvati in Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, who was this excellent daughter-in-law, trying to do all the sacrifices, trying to keep everybody happy, and they don't have any bad side, which is not true, because this any Indian woman or maybe any individual is not completely good or not completely bad. Another side of Ekta Kapoor's serials were showing the vamps, which was, I guess, for the very first time, so much Urvashi Dholakia played this role. Until date, after 20 years, Urvashi Dholakia has been remembered for her role of Komolika. All of us, and trust me, that includes me. I was a teenager at that time, and I remember how Komolika used to create all this negativity in Anurag and Prerna's life, who were being this romantic couple on screen. And I remember in one of the newspapers, I read this news that in reality, Komolika and Anurag are having an affair, and I was highly disappointed. Why I was disappointed? Because the projection of Komolika has created so much hatred in my mind for those kind of women that I thought that a woman can either be as good as Tulsi Parvati Prerna or as bad as Komolika. There is no in between. All these serials actually changed the dynamics of Indian society as well as the dynamics of the industry. People started saying that men have no role to play in these serials, and men also, the common Indian men also started, picturing their wives as Tulsi Parvati Prerna, or any woman who is playing any kind of, who's doing anything which is not idealistic. They started labeling her as Komolika. So these things, I would say, drastically change the way how we perceive women. But after this long era of K-series, OTT came into picture. The first OTT platform, Big Flix, was launched by Reliance Entertainment in 2008, but it was not that popular at that time because still K series were going on and Indian television was ruling the entertainment industry for common middle class people. In the 2013, these OTTs started coming into picture when GTV, Sony Live, Disney Hotstar, Amazon Prime, Netflix all came into picture. What is unique about these OTT platforms? The uniqueness is that these platforms actually portrayed strong women lead in their series. It did not started immediately. It started over the years, and the strong lead women started 2-3 years back. Before this, there was only male or maybe violence on these OTT platforms. But I think as the society changes, media also change. Earlier we used to say that literature is the mirror of the society, or it shows what is happening in the society, and literature influence the society. Now I think in the modern times, media has replaced literature and taken a strong hold in the industry or in the society. OTT platforms started showing these strong characters, and in the past 2 years, there are many serials, many series which has shown all shades of women on OTT platforms. And these shades are very different from what Ekta Kapoor used to show in her K-dramas, where women were either black or white, no gray area. But these OTT platform shows the gray area of women. Now, today for this particular lecture, I have selected 3 OTT series which are popular. And why they are popular? Because they talk about women. They talk about different shades of a woman's character. They talk about how a woman should not always be idealistic, how she can change, how she can be bad, she can be good, she can be sweet, she can be romantic, she can be brave, she can be lesbian, she can be bisexual, and she can do all other things these serials particularly show. Talking about the first series on which I'm going to talk is Bombay Begums. This particular series is a 6-part Netflix series. It was written and directed by Alankrita Srivastava. This serial revolves around Rani, which is the main protagonist. This particular role was played by Pooja Bhatt. And in this series, she has been shown as the CEO of Royal Bank of Bombay, and her success story has the ring of resounding epic. How a girl from a small town like Kanpur came to Bombay and became a head of a major financial institution. But this story is not only about Rani. It's not only about showing the success of Rani, and neither Rani is extremely good or extremely bad. The serial is also about Fatima, a girl, a woman who is married to her colleague, and how she's fighting for keeping balance between her family life and her work, and how her husband, who has this patriarchal mindset, is forcing her to leave her work because she's pregnant and they want to start family. Apart from that, Aisha, another character in this series is Aisha. She is a young girl from a small town. She wants to make it big. She is trying to use all kind of tactics to just be in this business. She was not hesitant to show her body, or maybe taking part in any kind of activity. She was very frank in drinking. She was trying to accept all these things. This particular character showed the struggle of a young girl, or of any of us. If you watch this series, you feel connected. Why? Because you can see that how girls from small towns, they go to these metro cities, they start working in the corporates, and what kind of struggle they face while being while preparing themselves in accepting these societies. Apart from that, another character which is shown in the movie is Lily. She's a sex worker. She is mother of a disabled son. she's struggling a lot in, keeping her life together. All these characters are different in their backgrounds, different in their financial status, different in their family lives, but all of them together are fighting for what? Fighting for establishing themselves in this patriarchal society where men holds everything, where women are only used as a um, portrayal of a young girl, a 12-year-old girl. She played the role of Rani's stepdaughter. How she wanted to, become an adult. What is the struggle of a girl who is just hitting puberty? What kind of emotions are going on in her, in herself, and how she wanted to look smart, how she wanted to be, accepted by the society, by her friends, how she wanted. She starts hating her mother. Why? Because this particular serial also shows that there is a contradiction, conflict between women also, and they are not sometimes they are not supporting each other. But at the same time, the serial also shows that if a woman support another woman, then they can together grow and fight against the society. The character which was fighting for Fatima, which was fighting for between her family life and her work life, when she got pregnant, she was disappointed. According to the traditional norms of of any sort of society, and particularly Indian society, a woman is only complete when she becomes a mother. I am struggling from that particular phase because I have to keep balance between my work life and family life, and at one particular stage you have to choose, and all of us can connect to that, particularly women, where the society forces us to choose motherhood instead of the work life. And if a girl or a woman remains try to remain focused on her professional life, she has been criticized, and the same happened with Fatima. But she refused this pressure. She went ahead and she continued her job. Her husband with this guilt of having extramarital affair. But this also shows that now our society is ready to accept that a married woman can also have extramarital affair. So serial, this particular series, Bombay Begums, talks about all shades of women. It is not about being idealistic women or being ideal housewife or being ideal daughter-in-law. No, it is about from all the classes of the society. It does not. This serial shows that no matter how educated you are or how much money you have, if you're strong enough, you can fight with all odds of the society. Not talking about the odds, what I like about these OTT platforms, that these serials are showing different time zones also. They are not focused on one particular era, or maybe on focused on one particular class of women, or one type of women. They show different colors of women on screen. So this particular serial is about a dedicated teacher. She is from a typically middle class family, and she has done multiple hats of a sincere wife, a doting mother, a caring daughter-in-law, and a university professor. Her husband is loving, but I would not say caring enough. This woman is trying her 100% to be a very good housewife, or not. She's a working woman, but she's doing all the work of a housewife. But she is not, I guess, sexually satisfied, is completely trying to love her husband. But for her husband, if he is gone to any business trip, he is completely comfortable in using condoms, in having some little fun, having sex out of marriage. But it is not expected from the wife. The wife is supposed to be completely devoted, dedicated towards her husband. But one fine day, this woman asked her, break all the societal norms, and she fall into love with Pipilika Khan. She is another unconventional artist played in this movie, sorry, in this OTT series. And when both these girls, both these women fall into love with each other, Astha, who was a traditional Indian woman, was in, you know, very she was in a guilt that what she is doing. And Pipilika Khan, she said one particular sentence in that movie, in that series, and she said that attraction is not about sex, it is not about gender, and attraction can and that has nothing to do with the gender. I appreciate this serial. It might show some of the very typical aspects of women, but it also shows that if a woman is not happy in still talking about homosexuality is a taboo. People are homophobic, okay? Nobody will accept it normally, particularly for a married woman. It might be acceptable for a man, or it might be acceptable for an unmarried woman, unmarried girl, but for a married woman to leave her husband and her family behind, and, you know, falling in love with another woman is something different. And this particular serial shows that despite having all the perfection in life, a woman can still be unsatisfied, which is very much required, because the society always asks from women to be said, no, it is not enough. Woman can have her desire. If a man can go outside and have sex and have fun just out of boredom, so does a woman also. A woman can also do the same, and this serial talks about it. Another serial in this series is the Fame Game, which is the most recent one. It is released on Netflix, and it is the first series of Madhuri Dixit on this OTT platform. Why Fame Game is unique? Because Fame Game is about always be an idealistic mother. Anamika, who is a very well-known Bollywood star, is struggling. She is struggling because of an abusive husband, which is played by Sanjay Kapoor. She is struggling because she was in love with someone else. She is struggling because of her mother, who has this patriarchal mindset. She is struggling because she has a gay son and who is not able to accept his identity. She is also struggling because her daughter, about her looks, about being the perfect girl, and she's not being the perfect girl. Anamika is trying to fight with all these odds. Anamika is trying to keep her game up, and that's why the series is called Fame Game. This serial also talks about many other things. It shows another character of a police officer. She is a strong young woman, and she is superintendent of police in Mumbai Police, and she is solving the kidnapping mystery of Anamika. What is unique about her is that she is lesbian. She is in a live-in relationship with her partner, and they both are trying for co-parenting to her partner's son. Now, all these aspects of this serial discuss different dynamics of the society. It also discusses different identities of women. Some of the famous dialogues of this serial shows that they show that how, despite the fact that women are capable, women are financially empowered. It always says that people are financially empowered, she can handle everything. But trust me, this is not true. Only earning money is not enough. If the girl is not strong enough in dealing her own problems, in solving her own mess, and if she is not strong enough, I hope there is no problem. Should I continue, sir? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this particular serial shows that a woman needs to stand for herself. If she wants the society to change, she also needs to change. I will talk about one of the dialogues which was shown in this movie, which shows in this series, which shows the patriarchal mindset, is that the protagonist's mother says that मेरा टाइम अलग था, बहुत चप्पल घिसने पड़े क्योंकि हमारे घर में कोई मर्द नहीं था, तेरे पास तेरा मर्द है, तू पहली औरत है हमारे परिवार में जिसका पति है, घर है, परिवार है, बच्चे हैं. एंड अनामिका रिप्लाइड, आई, मेरे पास जो भी कुछ है वो मेरी मेहनत से है, मेरे पति की वजह से नहीं है, और किसी को हक नहीं बनता वो ये सब मुझसे छीन ले. These conversations shows that no matter how much a woman can earn, she always needs a husband. She always needs a man in the house. A woman can never be a man in the house. But Anamika changed these perspectives. She survived the abusive husband. She lived with the abusive husband, but at the end she revolted against all these things. Another important thing which shown in this movie talked about being gay. It talked about how difficult it is for a young guy to accept his true identity, and this also shows that how difficult it is. Mother of this young man is trying to console him. This serial also talks about how marriage is important for a woman, but still Anamika, and she very strongly says that she is not going to lose all this because her husband is not supportive enough. This particular serial also talks about the insecurities of a man if his wife is earning more than him, or if his wife is more popular. This serial also talks about this controversial debate on heroes being aged and young girls playing their romantic partners on a screen. This serial shows that how a woman who is she's aging continuously, but she can still talk, she can still play the leading role. This serial talks about many topics. It talks about body shaming because the heroine's daughter was not comfortable in her body. It talks about sexism because Madhuri Dixit, while playing the role of Anamika, said to her hero in the movie that मैंने सुना है कि तुम्हारे जूनियर्स के साथ तुम्हारा बिहेवियर अच्छा नहीं है, पर इस सेट पर हम दोनों बराबर हैं, बराबर के हिस्सेदार हैं, मैं भी उतनी ही सफल हूं जितने तुम सफल हो. This dialogue shows that what exactly equality means for a woman at workplace. If we are not fighting for that equality, this talks about homosexuality. So at the end, I would only like to say that the purpose of talking about all these series is to show that how entertainment industry is changing and how it is accepting the other aspect of women. A woman is not only a flawless object. She is not a Barbie doll. She is not a trophy which you can keep in your house. And when I am saying you, I don't mean to address only men, but I mean to address the society. We have to accept that a women can be seen in rainbow ways, in different colors, and we have to accept the woman, any woman, with all her flaws, with all her beauty. And a woman is beautiful whether she's gay, whether she's lesbian, whether she's bisexual, whether she's fat, whether she's slim, dark, fair, whether she's staying at home, whether she's working. Every aspect of a woman should be acceptable in the society. Thank you so much for listening me. If any question is there, I would be happy to answer these questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am, for your detailed talk on the topic representation of women in digital media with special reference to OTT. Now, after this keynote speech, the topic is open for discussion, and I request participants, if they have any question or any doubt, please.
Is it okay if I ask a question? Moderator, can you hear me? On a particular series, which is very popular in West, It's titled Orange is the New Black. The series has represented women in a very different light. And the name
Orange is the New Black has a very unique representation of women. Why? Because it shows women who are criminal. I don't want to use that term criminal, but since they have done some kind of crime and they are being prisoned, that serial shows that within that jail, these women are being typecast for being lesbian, for being black, for having their own identity. The serial also talks about the cat fights which is happening inside that jail. So I think that the American society, which is different from Indian society, because women are not being represented in the similar way here. If you make any serial as Orange is the New Black in India, maybe people will not accept it because our society is still not smart enough, not grown enough to accept women criminals and ready to see their characters on television or maybe in on screen. So I think Orange is the New Black has a very different shade, which is again very much important to show, because as I have been saying in my lecture, that woman should not be objectified in one particular way. She should be seen in all different characters, and I think that is what this particular series talks about. It shows.
Thank you, Doctor. Another follow-up question on this. You touched a very nice point here. The portrayal of women in OTT in India and outside India. Yes, we have seen this growth of OTT in India a lot. And in OTT also there are classes now. Like there are OTT platforms which are Indian grown, and there are OTT platforms which are from outside, and which is totally based in India, Indian content, and there are content which is developed outside. Do you also feel that there is a difference between difference in the content regarding the portrayal of women, like how they are portrayed in the content presented in India, and how they are portrayed in the content which is produced outside India? Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Particularly, not only like in recent times, but if we talk about Sex in the City, which was way ahead. It was not introduced on OTT, but it was introduced on More Shots. And trust me, that serial is not popular enough. People are not talking about that serial. I have personally watched both Sex in the City and 4 More Shots. And trust me, any Indian women talking not being accepted by the society. So I would say that Indian OTT series are more acceptable and they are showing the real picture, I guess. In India, yes, definitely these series are showing real picture, but they are still not touching the middle class, which is very much important, because if you want to change the psychology of any society, or if you want to change the structure, you want to change the mentality, you have to touch the middle class. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, good evening. This is Badiuddin Ahmed from Hyderabad.
Yes, sir.
Just keeping aside this OTT part, what is the significant role played by this digital media in empowering the women? Because 2 days, 3 days back, a small girl of about in Jharkhand, she was talking about she was just, all material from the dustbins, all these things. So the police has been caught hold of them, and they were jailed, I think. And she just spoke in front of the district collector, magistrate, everything. It is shown on the wire actually. When we have such a big media, digital media, no media has been shown. So the girl's courage, she's about 5 years of age of girl, and she had an intention to becoming a IS officer to serve the society. And she put a question to the district collector asking that, is it your only right that your children should study, and can't we have right to study in schools? In this context, I would like to ask you, is media is playing right role, in the right perspective, right direction?
See, we should not put media or any other platform in the box of being right or wrong. There are, as I have been saying, there are gray areas as well. I do agree that media sometimes create negative impact on young women particularly. But at the same time, we have to keep this in mind that social media, digital media, particularly Instagram, TikTok, Reels, are providing a platform to young girls. I know a neighbor of mine. She was a shy girl and she was not very good in speaking English. And after 4 or 5 years now, I am following her on Instagram, and I have been seeing her that how confident she has become. She started speaking in English. She's following all the new trends, new fashions. So empowering women has many shades. It's not only about, definitely education is important, but social media and any form online. So I would say that media definitely is creating some negative aspect, but it is giving a platform for a woman, for any young girl also, to become strong, to become independent, or to become confident, to accept their flaws. It also connect them with the world so that they can see. Otherwise, in majority of the cases, girls are being kept in their houses, or maybe in the particular city where they are studying. I remember during my university days, I was not able to know about other people or other women, how anybody. So I'm from North India, particularly from Banaras. So at that time, I was not able to know that what a young girl from, let's say, Maharashtra is thinking about. But now social media and digital media is providing that platform. So this is promoting sisterhood on social media, which is again giving a positive attitude to women.
Agreed, but madam, there is as far as India is concerned, in Indian case, the rural women still being deprived of this social media, digital media. Hardly, I think you can, because it had been appeared in many articles that this is not. So
I completely agree with you, sir, and I said the same thing while answering one of the questions, that what digital media was, what OTT platforms are doing in America, they are not doing the same thing in India, because we need to penetrate into the middle class of the Indian society. Then only we are going to get the result, which, unless it is reaching to the last person in the line, it is not going to fulfill its purpose. So I agree completely with you on whatever you are saying, that we need to work a lot, particularly when it comes to OTT platforms.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Is there anybody else with any question? Please.
I think chat box there are some questions, sir.
Okay, sir. I shall see.
Nature of that character or that situation in lively and most effectively. It was very nicely explained by you. From ancient age or years, we always respect women, but nowadays, because of some cultural changes or the foreign tradition fashions, so these nature of all the situation or every corners of the society and is affected, and it is also affected the living standard of the women's also. Still they are improving their self, as you have said that Instagram or such social media is also if using to improve ourselves, to empower ourselves. And today you have joined from Patna, and from last 600 webinars, all women were mostly from out of Maharashtra. It was highly impossible me to invite physically to our city and to give a talk. It's because of the digital media we have connected. So this is also the second aspect of the digital media. By support this digital media, by in the frame of our culture and the society, it should be published and it should be enjoyed. April and now in the March. Every time she accepted without any hesitation, sir, yes, I am ready to give you the talk. So that nature I like this, because when someone have some potential to speak every day or digital media on women's all the aspects. Thank you, madam. In next webinar also you will be invited on such topic. We will invite you. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Good night, everyone.
Just wait for formal
Now,
note of
on
thanks.
behalf of
Okay.
Now, on behalf of Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, webinar series of national and international webinars, I am here for the formal vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Speaker and Chief Guest, Dr. Sangya Pandey ma'am, who has accepted the invitation of the college and has given very illustrative and detailed speech on the topic, and which cleared all the aspects and what change is going to happen in the society sooner or later, and all we have to accept it. So thank you, ma'am, on behalf of organizing committee of webinar series, and also I thank honorable chief organizer and chairperson of this taking lot of efforts to continue the series, and we participants have been provided with different topics related with culture, different things. So our knowledge is enriched of all the fields. And so thank you, sir, on behalf of the organizing committee. And also I thank all the participants who are punctually taking part in the webinar series, and they are patiently listening, asking questions, and putting their doubts, getting clarifications and answers, which is also helping all of us to go ahead in different fields. And I also thank Dr. Anita Dhole ma'am, who has given a very good introduction of today's honorable keynote speaker. So thank you, ma'am. And now I request all the participants, please fill your feedback form so that you can have your certificate. And with the kind permission of chief organizer and chairperson, I declare here